Alright, and we are loading in to the last match of the day. At least in this side stream, as the main stream itself is having its own game. We are having a bird, excuse me, actually, a pig, a cat, and a bird versus violently debuffed here. As we see that both teams are gonna actually we see a diversion in teams with a big what do I call them? I want to call them the zoo team either. A pig, a bird, and a cat is utilizing Timeless Creator while the opponent violently debuffed will be trying to utilize the sparks to their favor, and they seem to have also a more chaos-centric team, though of course a pig, a cat, and a bird is not lacking in that department either. Now we see Pigshot is gonna try in an offense here. Layfire and Nitron. Oh, actually, I had to get teams reversed. My bad. Now Pigshot. Actually, before I can even explain anything, Pigshot nails a shot with the middle drum into the top corner as Potat is not able to hold with without their abilities. Now we will see again as teams try to contend for the core. Now we see here Pigshot gonna try to look for a position here, but actually Lukimana and Big Smoke are going to be applying massive pressure on this bottom corner, but they don't find a barrier with it. And now on the top corner we have the game progressing, and now a side swap means Pigshot, Nitron, and Layfire are all together on the offense. Nitron not returning to the reject button, but now with Layfire covering them, they can safely put on some pressure. But now a little slip puts them one barrier down. Now with both teams having one barrier, Pigshot finding some great back passes here to develop their offense further to make value of it, and they do. They get the second barrier. Now an open net with Pigshot in the control will result in a shot, but Potat holds it with the Atlas primary, but the Herald Maelstrom finds Atlas lacking as they are unable to do much and choose between either saving or dying. And once the Atlas is down, the goalie is missing, the power play just results in a great constructed attack and a score for the side of a pig, a cat, and a bird. That's not gonna be exhausting to say. And now we have again Layfire and Nitron here, who I also missed the roles of. We have Nitron on the vice midfield here actually, and an Era goalie. One thing that I was not expecting when I saw the team comps, but we see a kill here picked up by Pigshot on the Atlas once again. And again, just as before, once the goalie is missing and the power play is active, it's not gonna be too much trouble for red team to just slam it in there. And now, with their victory, they are rewarded with the draft, as we see Layfire going to be getting the first pick in this draft. Will opt for maybe a secondary awakening, or perhaps denying some sort of awakening, but they actually hold on to their pick to make sure that their teammates get what they want. And now they opt for fire up, assisting their team maybe in the speed department and granting energy to everyone, maybe in a late game skirmish. Prize Fighter picked up on X means that we will see more chaos in this match, and the explosive entrance on Nitron is just a more confirmation of that, as we see. Again, they will be looking for the offense here. Nitron and Pigshot will be looking for the corner offense, and they do get a barrier for the offense. And now Nitron with the patience does manage to keep the barrier and in control, as they are not hit by the intercept on Big Smoke Manager. But now Big Smoke Manager will find the pass from the gap given by Potat, and with it take double barriers. Now Pigshot 1-on-1 against Potat will try to get it. Nitron here to further strengthen the offense here, and they do find the second barrier, and Pigshot now just punching Atlas in, doesn't get KO'd, but is forced to redirect to the bottom side where Nitron has them covered. On the draft side, we also see Lukimana has managed to pick up aerials, which will give them more pressure around the map, and Big Smoke Manager is starting to build up that size advantage, which could be crucial in the upcoming sets. And Potat, of course, missile propulsion, that Atlas primary could spell trouble upcoming. And now on the bottom corner, we again once again have Nitron and Pigshot. They have been comfortable so far in this corner, and they seem to have that going still. And now Layfire on the top, walking up, will be a great contribution to the attack, and Nitron is going to go back to cover for them, and the barrier here is taken with the great offense on a bird, a cat, and a pig. I get the order messed up like 5 times probably, but however, now there are more important things at stake. Lukimana and Big Smoke Manager are developing a lot of pressure here on the top lane, and Pigshot does try to get something with the burst, but doesn't quite. And now we seem to have technical issues regarding Big Smoke Manager, as they seem to have a cut connection. And in this gap, we can talk more about how, again, we can see the energy economy is in the favor of, excuse me, my throat is really fucked. Is in the advantage of violently debuffed here, especially with Pigshot having used their burst, so they could be looking for maybe to build those up to stall the plays and score with those. But of course, Nitron and Pigshot have been really good at these organized attacks, especially with Layfire contributing in the front end. We are back. We are once again active, and now Layfire is going to find out, but Nitron finds the pass, and now Layfire walking up again is gonna help Pigshot in this area, but now Nitron manages to get a hold of the core, and Pigshot just dribbling it up top and putting it in with the core. Excuse me, putting it on with the ultimate. They just have been very organized and constructed with their attacks, especially with how great they are at taking benefit of their goalie walking up. It has been really impressive, and now Nitron is going to be covering for Big Smoke Manager, cutting that angle off. Now on the top angle, we have an attack, but actually Nitron finds a pass to themselves, to their blink point, to get that barrier, and now Potat is going to be trying to hold this barrier against the enemies. Now Pigshot getting damaged a lot, but does still have their energy, so they will be surviving, especially with this Vice ult that stayed down. They do manage to get the second barrier. Now Lukimana is using their ult to get out of this key situation, and they do even get a barrier on top of it. Pigshot is staggered, and Potat uses their abilities to get rid of him, but now they don't have abilities, which might be trouble, as Layfire is now approaching with the burst and the Maelstrom, but an unfortunate strike swings the game's momentum backwards, and the power play is found for the side of viciously debuffed, as Pigshot is taken out of the game. But now they are back, and they are on the back foot once again, and Layfire almost finds the primary angle, but even if they do miss that, the zap from Nitron finds its way into the net, as they take the second set of this game. Quite a dominant show we see here from a pig, a cat, and a bird. That's the correct saying. That's how you say it. And now, again, they are rewarded with the set, and there are some great awakenings here. Hotshot, peak performance, Spark of Strength could be picked up. Spark of Strength, again, will be picked up. Actually, having two Sparks in the same draft would usually be a disadvantage, but with the whole team of a bird, a pig, and a cat, that's not the correct thing. Having Sparks, it would be, of course, more useful. That's why Big Smoke Manager finds themselves denying Spark of Agility, which allows Layfire to get Hotshot for those cooldowns, and we see Pigshot with the peak performance gonna give them a bit more speed, and also deny their opponents of their stagger, and also, you know, in the turn that they do get damaged, they will have more of it. And speaking of KOs, here is a KO. Pound on Lukimana will grant them a power play. Pigshot, Nitron is riffing it up top, and they just can't get it in. They are holding it greatly, Potat and Big Smoke Manager here, but it just isn't enough. With all those skills that they have up their sleeves, you cannot hold that for long. And again, thinking of that, we also have Fight or Flight on Lukimana. More speed is always welcome in a midfielding character, especially with IME. They might be liking it a lot. And now Layfire actually walked up top once again, but this time around it goes punished, as Big Smoke Manager managed to get a kill, but Pigshot is just holding it too strongly up top, and they cannot get an offense going. Nitron, now a misstrike will spell disaster, as they get both of their barriers taken, and now Lukimana is low, but the Atlas ult arrives just on time, and now both teams in an open net will be looking to build something. Big Smoke Manager does have their burst up, but they don't even need it. The secondary goes through Nitron, and Layfire unfortunately isn't fast enough to reach it at that angle. Now we see burst building up on the side of a pig, a bird, and a cat and a bird. And now, despite that, we see a pressure down in here with the Asher ult and the Amy ult. It just is not going to be able to get out of there, but they do pay it dearly with their stagger, and that stagger results in a power play and a double barrier taken in that power play, as Big Smoke Manager is off the field now. We see Nitron is going to try it, but the barrier is taken by an unfortunate core going their way, and now both teams sit in an open net, as Lukimana and Big Smoke Manager will be looking to get some form of attack going, but Pigshot does meet with the core. Unfortunately, doesn't convert off of it, and now Potat is holding it down with the secondary primary. But now, after they roll out of abilities, their team needs to hold it up slightly so they can get all those abilities back. Now, Big Smoke Manager tries to make sure that the offense is up, making Layfire use their burst, and now they are back in the offense, but Pigshot is met with the core once more, and unfortunately for this time around, Potat does not have no strike shot or primary to hold that angle, and Pigshot just strikes it in. Now we see a match point for the favor of a pig, a cat, and a bird, and now they are definitely going to be looking for that, but of course viciously debuffed won't go down so easily as they take the top barrier into a pressure, and now they are also gonna try to take the bottom one, but Pigshot finds the angle and does manage to also with their secondary claim the top barrier of their own. Now Nitron helping Layfire in the defensive quite well. They do protect that second barrier. Potat holding against Pigshot, but not for long as Big Smoke Manager does help them in the corner, but those tight spaces are not going to be good for viciously debuffed as all the damage gets laid out. But they do now have the offensive. Big Smoke Manager does have their burst, so they might be looking for something here, but Pigshot makes sure that core doesn't reach him, and unfortunately the burst is wasted. Pigshot is met with Potat face to face, and though the first attempt doesn't clock in, Nitron is there to provide the second, which will earn them the match. Setting it 1-0 in favor of a pig, a cat, and a bird. Yes, that's how you say it. Okay, I think I got it. But now, with that first game done, both teams showed great effort in that one. Though I must say, it was a dominant show. Coming from a pig, a bird, and it's crazy how much I say that name. Anyhow, we see viciously debuffed. Maybe they couldn't get quite what they wanted on the offensive side, as they did seem to struggle, especially with how much just presence they were dealing with from the opposing team. But I do believe they have much to go for. They could swap tactics, and in the second game of Adlab, everything could turn around, and well, hopefully it does, and we go to another match 3 where we get straight flames in this final game. Who's the winner of will advance to top 6, and I will see you shortly.